Hello, I'm Izzy Nally, and this is day two of our 3-day strategic marketing training. This is about starting and scaling your coaching business. Now, starting a business can be a little daunting, and where do I start, and how do I ensure that I'm going to make money? Because ultimately, you need to be making money in your business before you quit your corporate job and start in on this. Now, some of us are in positions where maybe we've retired or maybe we're a stay-at-home parent, and it takes a little bit of that oomph off of the push, the need to succeed. However, I will tell you, if you don't set yourself up properly, you're going to have a lot of falling and picking yourself back up, and they might sting a little bit more than if you had set yourself up for success. Because let's face it, we are doing this because we want to feel successful. We want to make an impact as well as we want to generate money because that is what a business does. Now, unless you're setting yourself up as a nonprofit, as a business, you need to make money, which means you need to work on your relationship with money. I'm not talking about that today, just a light little side note that does need to be something you're going to work on because you do need to be like, yes, I am going to make $1 million business. It's going to be wildly successful and I'm going to help people in the process. That's the energy that I hope to give you. And that's the energy that I hope that you can take away from this training today. Now, we're getting started on day two. We're making it easy to sell. So, we're talking about sales and how we're setting up our product. I will review just a tiny short bit, maybe give me 60 seconds to review what we did yesterday so that we can really lead it into today because this is a 3-part training. So, let me bring up my slides. While I'm bringing up my slides, go ahead and say hi. Tell me what your business is. If you were here yesterday, tell us who your target audience is. And let's go ahead and get some conversation started. Now, while I'm teaching today, please drop your questions in the chat and I will get to them as soon as I finish presenting the slides, because unfortunately, I won't be able to see your questions at the same time. So keep them coming, type them in real time, and I will come right back to them. All right. Let's see. Oh, you're seeing my slides ahead of time. It's okay. Let's go back to day one. So don't forget to register so that you can win the 8-week training. Just a little reminder, I'll post some more details about that. Day one, yesterday we talked about creating a winning product. So choosing your target market and how that's where you want to start first. We talked a little bit about the mindset and how you need the strategy. And we talked about a customer and a product, that we're not trying to solve all their problems with one product. We can have multiple products that solve a lot of their problems. What we want is a win. We want a tangible result as we finish up that product. And we need to make it easy. When you start trying to overcomplicate it, it does not hit these 3 things, which is saving them time, saving them energy, and saving them money. This product that you're creating one at a time needs to make sure that it's saving them time, energy, and money. And it can be one of those, it could be 2 of those, it could be all 3 of those. Today, too, we're talking about how to make it easy to sell. All right. So, pricing and packaging. We want to sell them what they want and give them what they need. Now, this is the thing that I see a lot of coaches they get stuck on. They are selling them what they need. And guess what? They don't want to buy what they need, right? We know that we need to not midnight snack, and we know that we shouldn't eat ice cream every day. But is that what we're going to buy into? No. We're like, can I eat it all and get what I want? So giving them what they need is what we do in the package. And that's why we're not really promoting that. That's not the thing that we're promoting. For example, I see a lot of health and wellness coaches, and you've probably seen this too, where they're like self care. And this is, I did it too. I did it. Okay. I did it. In the beginning, we're just trying to push on them the things that they need. That's not what you're doing when you're packaging up something to sell. You are not trying to push anything on them. Okay. We are not trying to do the work that needs to be done in our marketing. In our marketing, we might educate them, but we're educating them on the things that they want to hear. And we're going to sell them on the things they want. They want weight loss. They want to drop 10, 20 pounds. That's what we're going to sell them. Now, in the process, we're going to teach them the self care. And I'm using this because hopefully we've all experienced this at some point, or we've had someone try to sell that to us. Maybe you're one that's currently doing that, and that's okay. Again, I used to do this a long time ago when I was in the health and wellness, and that's what I was selling. And it's a common thing to do because we're so passionate that we're coming at it from the perspective of, "Hey, I've been through this. Let me tell you what you really need." And that's not what they wanna hear. So, if they are wanting to leave their job, I'm not going to just sit here and tell you, like, step by step, these are the things that you need to do. No, that's why you would pay for the coaching program, the packaged up program, because you would want me to teach you those things and guide you through those things and take you through them in the time that it is needed to go through those things. What you really want to know, right, when you're tuning in, is how do I leave my corporate job? How do I package up my item? And how do I make a lot of money so that I can leave my corporate job and be sitting at my desk during the day going, oh, yeah, and I'm thinking about this and I'm doing the things that I really feel passionate about? How do you do that? Simple, simple steps. Okay. I'm going to help you package things up so that people want to buy them. Okay. I'm going to help you understand marketing so that it's easy, because it's really hard to go figure it out yourself. Okay. There's some really great books. I can recommend the great books, right? Like, how many times have you spent an hour, 2 hours just going through Amazon trying to find good books, putting them in your shopping cart, probably even buying them, letting them sit on your shelf, and you haven't even read them? Okay. You need the accountability. That's what's going to happen inside the package. You're getting the gist. Sell them what they want. What is it that they really want? When they are going to Google and typing it in, what are they searching for? When they're going to YouTube and they're searching for videos, what are they looking for? Stop trying to, and we talked about this yesterday, stop trying to title everything from your perspective. You need to title it from their perspective. What is it that they really want? Okay. And I go into a lot of tactics and a lot of strategy within my coaching program. I'm not going to go into it. It's not useful for me to go into that today. You need to understand the overarching stuff today. Okay. What sells? Now, these are things that you can implement: logic and emotion. This is what sells when we put these together. So, what I see another thing a lot of people do is they try to do all logic or they try to do all emotion, and they're not putting them together. And again, if we are starting with our target market, then we know what emotions they're experiencing. Okay. That's the little bit trickier part. Logic is where we need to find the statistics, the data of why this stuff works. Now, as you're searching for all the logical stuff and as you're getting to know your target market, you're doing all of this research, you're going to become the expert, the thought leader in your field so that you can position yourself as that leader. Now, in order to position yourself as that leader, you are going to need to do some marketing. You're going to need to show up on social media. And that can be in posts, that can be blog posts, that can be digital marketing materials, that can be lives, that can be reels, that can be YouTube videos. And maybe, hopefully, you've got a nice little blend of all of those. And I can show you a way to make that a lot easier too. So, when we're looking at logic, the logic side of it, we really want to be matter of fact. And again, this is where you're positioning yourself as the expert. As you're positioning yourself as the expert, there needs to be clear steps that you're going to take them through to get them from where they are to the desired result. Now, we do not have to take them from A to Z in one package. In one package, it might be practical because, again, we want to save time. We might say, this is the increment, this is what we want to accomplish in phase one. So maybe in 3 months, this is what we're really hoping to have. Now, that person's going to be at a different level at that 3 months of working with you than they were when they started. And so at that 3 months, you might have a second package that is for people that's at this level going to the next level. You can catch the people that just went through program one, and you can also catch some other people that maybe this was too elementary for them, that they were a little bit more advanced. And so now you've caught the people that just went through phase one, program one, and you're snagging some other people that are at that stage too. This is why it's so important for us to understand our target market. Okay. And we're using this framework that we've developed. Those are the stepping stones. Your framework, you should have a framework. Like, first we do this, then we do this, then we do this. If you don't have steps per se, then it might be once we accomplish this mindset, then we can move to the next. Okay. For example, if I am building a house, every house is going to be a little different, right? But it is overarchingly the same that we have to have a blueprint. We have to build the foundation. We need to build our walls. And so we would not tell somebody, oh, go pick out all of your furnishings first before we even build your house. No, right? Like, you don't want to pick out your furniture until you finish the house. Now, you might start daydreaming about it, but you don't want to spend the time on that when you haven't even spent the time building the foundation, building the walls. You haven't even picked out the flooring yet. Like, why would you be on 10 steps ahead when you haven't finished this? Okay. So we need that framework. That framework's going to say these are the stages that we really need to do. You can daydream a little bit, but don't get so carried away that you forget to do the foundation. Okay. All right. Let me know if this is making sense. Tell me what you're thinking so far. So we talked about how we need to sell them what they want, give them what they need. We don't need to go into all of the little details. We don't need to push our stuff on them. We need to tell them, like, I have a way that's going to get you what you want. Okay. This next part, we're talking about understanding their objections. And you might have heard this before than just this statement, know their objections. Well, how? How do I know their objections? Well, you ask questions. You are going to get some no's. And when you're in business, a no is not useless. A no is actually really beneficial. And so in the early stages, when you're asking people about their stuff and you're asking if they're interested in working with you and they give you a no, meet it with curiosity and find out, why are they telling you no? And you want to document all of these no's and you want to explore it, because when we get defensive and we retract, we are missing out on a huge opportunity. We are missing out on our ability to move forward in our business at all. Okay. We need to know, why are they saying no? Is it about you? Maybe they don't believe that you can deliver the results. And that you can give them lots of examples, which we're going to talk about. Maybe it's the program. Maybe you didn't lay out a clear framework that makes it sound easy and simple. And it doesn't sound like it's going to save time, money, and energy. or maybe they're lacking belief in themselves and their own ability. For me, when I'm looking at a new program to sign up with a coach, I'm looking at how much time commitment does it take? Am I going to be able to commit that level of time? And if the coach, if you, the coach or consultant, can clearly articulate, hey, these are some things that are going to show up for you, right? You're going to doubt yourself. And in my program, you're going to doubt yourself at times. You will. And that's okay because I'm going to be there to help you strategize and make sure that you find the time in your schedule. I'm going to help you overcome the mental chatter and misbeliefs in yourself. It's really important that we do that work alongside of what we're doing. So when you're in my program in the MMBB, the Million Maker Business Blueprint, you are going to get a hypnotherapy session to work on your money mindset. Now, we might not do that right away because we want to see what some of the blockages are coming up and see where they're showing up at. And then we're going to dive in and we're going to say, okay, these are the things that are showing up for you. Congratulations. This was beautiful. We've identified them. Now let's tackle them and let's keep moving forward. Okay. And even if you don't sign up for the program, if you want a hypnotherapy session, I can do that for you too. All right. So checking in with their belief in you, their belief about the program, their belief about their ability, and their ability might also be some other factors. So we want to make sure that they are going to have the support that they need during this process. These are important things to have conversations with, especially if you do a sales call. Who's going to support you in this? Are you going to be able to clearly tell your family that you need the extra time undisturbed to do this? So making sure that you've checked in with them on those things. Now, we talked about the logic. Now let's talk about the emotion because we know when we're tired and we have a little less restraint over our emotions, we're more likely to be scrolling at night and click that buy button. Okay. Are we meeting them where they're so emotional about the matter, or we're tapping into that emotion that we can get them to buy? And I'm not saying that in a manipulative way, but what's happening is they're going to get to the purchasing and they got there because they were emotional. They got there because there's this pain in their life, this problem, and they really want to solve it. And then they're getting to you and they're letting logic kick in. And then you've met their logic and you've satisfied that need. And now you can come back to the emotion, to the pain point, because what you don't want is them to continue struggling in pain. You want to give them a solution. You want to ease their pain. I hope so, right? Like us as coaches and as consultants, we're wanting to ease their pain. Now, where we have to be a little careful is that we don't get so caught up in their pain that we end up just giving the product away for free. That we're like, you know what? I'll just reduce the rate. And our fear kicks in. Our fear starts going, oh, but they need it. If they really need it, they will find a way. And the reason being is they need to make that commitment to resolve their problem. Okay. Because often we have these handy little devices that have all the answers in the world. And of course, we want to save time by committing to a program. But a lot of times it's more than that. A lot of times it's fear of change. And so we're having to meet them with the change. And so we have to point that out to them because as a therapist, I will tell you, the conscious mind goes, of course I can do this. I can do this by myself. I can get on there. I can figure this out. And then our subconscious mind keeps us stuck and keeps us from changing and keeps us staying where we're at because that feels safe and it's less work and it's less energy. At least that's what our subconscious mind tells us. But in all reality, it takes just as much energy to stay the same as it does to change. It's just different. And so we've got this psychological safety going on that's keeping us trapped. And so we want to pull on that emotional pain and pull on that struggle to get them to change because we know it's going to be for the better for them. And we should always be functioning. Is it better for them and me? It should be equal on that. If we're just looking because it's good for us and we don't know if they're actually going to be able to change, it is our social and moral responsibility to say, you know what? I don't think you're ready for this program yet. And that's okay as a business owner to say that because your success rate is really important. Those testimonials, those case studies are really important. Now, another matter that I want to bring up when we're talking about the heart, when we're talking about emotions, is creating a movement. And so we were talking a little bit more on like the negative side of pain. This is the positive side of the emotions. Okay. So we're creating a movement, we're inspiring them. We've got this boat and we're trying to get people to jump in and sail across the ocean and create this charge for change. And so that can also be a really great thing to do. Saying, like, we've got this pain. You're not alone. Other people have it too. That's why I'm creating this program. Let's do this together and let's change the trajectory of how people are doing business. Let's make this available. And so, like, I'm providing this information to you, but it takes people getting on here and listening first and foremost. And then it takes you actually implementing what I'm teaching today. Otherwise, this is where knowledge is power when you put knowledge to use. So I mentioned social proof. And social proof is really important because what you're doing is training and teaching people. And when we train and teach people, there is a science behind that. It's adult learning. And adult learning, we have to teach things in ways that are actionable. And that's really important. I used to be a college professor. I may not have always done it perfect in the beginning. And then I realized, like, I've got to get my students to actually learn something. How do I do this? And doing the learning and stuff in education and how we teach. It's a beautiful thing. So making sure that one, you know how to actually teach it and not just talk about it. There's a difference. And trust me, when we package up your products, I'm going to make sure that you know how to teach. This is not just video all your knowledge about this stuff and just tell people lots of things. You can do that when you're doing these free trainings and giving them a lot of knowledge so that they know that you know what you're talking about. But you also need to give them the confidence that you're going to be able to teach them what it is that you need to teach. So you're going to give testimonials. You're going to do case studies. Case studies. Now, if you're new and you're starting out, you might need to utilize other case studies. And you can go to google.com/scholar and type in whatever your topic is and pull up those research studies that are showing like something similar to this has been done before. Maybe you're merging two different tactics together and you're putting them together. And then if you can, do a visual before and after. Okay. So we know like weight loss, use that as an example because I think we all can relate. But the before and after. If someone is in their business, paint a before and after picture of where they were before and where they are now. It's kind of like a case study, but you're just maybe putting a little visual and then a little snippet of, they were really struggling. This is what their product looked like before. This is what their product looked like afterwards. What was that big transformation that happened by working with you and working in your program? And yes, you need a program. And we mentioned this a little bit yesterday. So if you are offering one-off services, you need to package those up. Someone is rarely getting a amazing result off of one session with you, unless it was like a workshop that you provided. Normally, they're going to need at least a planning, a doing, and a follow-up. So a minimum of 3, and most of the time I tell people 6 because there's always more that you can do, always more that you can refine, and then that's how you package it up and you ensure that results are happening. All right, deep breath. because we're covering a lot. All right. So if you have any questions so far, if your brain is whirling and you're like, well, how do I do this? And how would I do it in this scenario? Go ahead and type it in. Go ahead and type it in. And if you're just tuning in, we we cover a lot. And you can go back and you can rewatch this. And make sure that you're also in the Facebook group, because I'm going to post a little summary and a homework assignment, and you're going to want to make sure that you click on that. Now, the program I'm talking about, packaging up your offers, this is an 8-week program that we're going to be deep diving into. It's recorded, so you can keep watching it over and over. And we're going to be doing it live on Tuesdays. And then if you purchase the package, you'll also get some one-on-one sessions as well. And we'll be looking at our offers and giving each other feedback, and it's going to be really beautiful. And then if you win, yes, you can win. You can win a spot in the 8-week course. You still get all the recordings, you just don't get the one-on-ones. But I'm going to break it down. I'm going to have workbook pages and everything like that. Okay, tuning back in, giving you a little time just to catch up. Perceived value. When we feel like we're getting a deal, we're more likely to buy, right? How many times do you just go shopping? You just go shopping. You're not really looking for anything. You just want to go shopping. And then you see a really fantastic deal of something that you didn't necessarily have on a list of something that you needed, but it just such a great deal. You just can't pass it up, right? It really works. It really works. So, that being said, there's power in knowing that you want to package up your offer so that it feels like the value's really high, which it is, but you need to let them know the value. And then you're going to have the price lower than the value. The bigger gap between there is a good thing. However, if it's really, really low, someone's going to ask what's wrong. What's wrong with it? So we need it not too low, but also not too high, right? Like someone will be like, $200 off. And I'm like, okay, that's not a huge difference. Now, if I'm saving $1,000, I'm like, oh, yes. Okay. And this is in perspective of what the price is. If it's a $5,000 product, a $6,000 product, and I'm getting $500 off, okay. If it's $1,000 off, I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. 2,000 off for a limited time, I better sign up. But if it's like a $5,000 and you're selling it to me for 50 bucks, I'm going to be like, why? Why are you selling it for 50 bucks? What's the catch? So we want to pay attention to how we're going to elicit curiosity or motivation. Okay. So make sure that we give this perceived value. I'm going to give you a little tip, and we're going to do this in the program as well. So you're going to list out every little training that you're offering, and you're going to put what's the value. So if you were to record a 1-hour training and you're doing a transformation step in that one training, and you could easily teach a workshop just around that one, and let's say it's worth $300. And it might not be what you would actually sell it for, but it's definitely worth $300. Then you would put that video value $300. The next one, maybe this one's even juicier, and you're going to put value of $500. Let's say you've got 10 of those. You're going to add them all up and you're going to say value of, let's say it's $12,000. And then what you're actually selling the program for is $6,000. Now, they'll be like, wow, I'm getting a lot of value for this price. We have to lay it all out for them so that they can see it, because they don't have a perceived value of what these are worth. So you're going to have to show them what they should be perceiving the value as. And you can even tell them why, or you can just list out prices. But that needs to be listed out. And it also needs to be listed out for you as a coach, because sometimes as coaches, we can price our stuff really, really high and we have no reason for it, and we need to give them a reason. And then sometimes we price it really, really low and it's like, hey, you could be selling this for way more. So we want to make sure that we're getting you in that sweet spot of a price. And we want to get it at a price where they're going to say, yes, sign me up. That sounds amazing. All right. Last but not least, this is what I teach in almost every single one of my trainings. You need to have clarity. You need to have consistency and you need to have confidence. This will make it easy to sell. If you are not super clear about what you're offering, why you're offering it, and why it's valued at the way it's valued, they're not going to be either. If you're not showing up consistently and the message that you're delivering, as well as the frequency, that's consistency, then you're not eliciting that sense of trust. And in order for someone to buy, they need to know, like, and trust you. And so, in order to know you, you need to be showing up consistently with a consistent message. In order to like you, well, that's more so just a vibe, really. But they need to like what you're presenting and how you teach. And then for them to trust you, they need to see that you're clear, you're consistent, and you're also confident in what you're doing. Now, these stair stack on each other. We have to develop that clarity first. Then we have to show up consistently with that clarity. And then, as we show up with clarity consistently, we develop confidence. All right. I love studying confidence. And I will tell you that when you get super clear, and you also put a big mission behind what you're doing, your confidence will boost right up and it becomes so much easier because, again, you're doing it for the target market. You're not doing it for yourself. You can have confidence in your product and confidence in your mission. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have confidence in yourself. So that word confidence is subjective. So if you're like, well, I'm not confident in getting on camera, I'm not confident in teaching, well, practice is what builds progress, and that practice is what builds confidence. So, how you are showing up in your business is how they're going to start to show up. If you are kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this, or oh, I'm not sure. However, whatever's showing up for you and yourself and how you're showing up for your business is how they are also going to show up. So you need to check in again with your mindset, with your emotions, and with your logic of how you're showing up with clarity, consistency, and confidence in your business. And as I already mentioned, packaging and pricing is really important. And I do some little tactics in how we can package these things up, how we can price them out, what are the bonuses that we add into the package, and what is it that we really want to put in our package as far as what we're promoting. Again, what they're wanting and then what they're needing. All right. So those are some things that we're going to cover in our 8-week training. So that sums up for today. I'm just going to let you know that's really blurry. What we're covering in the Package Up Your Offers 8-week training, which starts on November 8th, which is really, really soon. So we're talking about increasing their perceived value, creating urgency, creating stackable or stair step services, which are like variations of one service, how to work backwards from your high ticket offering so that you can create your middle and your low ticket offering, how to understand your sales funnel, because we could create a really great package, but if we don't have a sales funnel to get them to it, then it's kind of pointless. So we don't want to stop halfway and and then we're like, I created a product. Why is no one buying it? Because if there's not a sales funnel to get them to it and to let them know that it exists and the value of it, then there was no point in creating the offer. And we want to get an intro understanding of your target audience and craft your social media content that primes your audience for the offer. how to price your services, or your packages that are going to be of services, and to design your packages that are going to actually help you to scale. Now, I'm only opening up this to 12 people because we need the conversation going on during the training. And then I also need to meet with you all one on one in 8 weeks. So we're going to be working pretty intensely on it. What does that mean? What does that mean? That's like when I say intensive package, people are like, "Oh, I don't know if I have time for that," right? Now, I would recommend that you're going to work on this at least 3 evenings per week during that 8 weeks. So it's like as if you were in a training. So one of those evenings is going to be the evening that you're in the training with me, and then you might wanna work on it a little bit afterwards, or you might wanna prep right before. And then I would recommend like do maybe Tuesday, Thursday, and if you could either do Wednesday or Saturday to work on it yourself because you are going to have some homework, you are going to have some stuff to work on, and then I'll also meet with you all individually as well, which I'll do some of those on Thursday evenings to make sure that I meet with you all and get you the questions answered, make sure that we can really look at your products. You want some eyes on your products, highlighting it, editing it, so that way you're just not going, "Oh, it's a shot in the dark." No, you want an expert to really look at it, analyze it, tell you what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. All right? So if you are interested in that, you can get signed up. You can send me a message if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to jump on a call with you if you're like, "Here's my idea. Is it worth me investing into this program?" And I will tell you, "Hey, I think you need to look at your target market a little bit more. Here's some suggestions." Or I might say, "Yeah, this just needs some basic refinement. Let's jump in. I think you'll be a great candidate." So just throwing that out there. I'm never really pushy on sales because I don't like it. I don't like it when people do it to me. All right. So let me stop sharing my screen and thank you all so much. I'm going to tune into the questions now. So if you typed any questions or you still need to type some questions, by all means, get them in the chat and then I will answer them. So scrolling up, Liliana, hello. So that target audience is going to be 25 to 45, struggling with a healthy lifestyle while living with neurodivergence. So if anyone has any neurodivergence, contact Liliana and tell her some of your main concerns so she can start doing some research on that audience and what they're looking for. Carrie says, looking forward to working with hypnotherapy into your coaching. So, yes. So that's where I took my hypnotherapy, my therapeutic background, and I mix it in with my coaching because stress management is extremely important. Our thoughts control everything that we do. And yes, I know I'm also an academic, Liliana. So that's why I love pulling research studies and finding all of that. Just be careful that you don't get so wrapped up in the research studies that you forget to take action in your process. You're going to know far more than your audience is. And as long as you know more than them and you can teach them something, you have a product and you have a business that you can do. All right, question. How do I determine the value? Do you base it on current dollar per hour? No, I do not typically charge based on per hour. Unless I'm doing a done for you service, I might have a general frame that I don't want to go below. But we're basing our price on the transformation. So let me explain. This is one I've heard a lot. It made sense to me. If someone needs to save their marriage, how valuable is that to you? Can you put a price tag on that? No. If someone said, well, I have services, it's going to be $200 an hour, and we're going to do that every week until your problem is resolved. How does that sound? Or I'm going to put you through a 3-month workshop and it's gonna be a make it or break it. You're gonna know by the end of this workshop if you are ready to work on this marriage together or if you're ready to be done. Who wants to draw it out indefinitely for $200 every single week? Or who would like to spend, let's say, $3,000 on a marriage workshop? Value is perceived. Marketing is all about reframing the value. Okay. So, are there industry standards? On some things, there may be. A lot of these packages, I will tell you, like my package that I offer, I am way below what people with my credentials, with what I'm teaching, to the results that I get. The majority of people in this industry with all of that equal to me, right? It's like pricing a house in a market. Um, Not that I'm a house, but similar tactics. Um, they are charging anywhere from 25,000 to 50,000 for a program. For me, I don't want to charge that much right now. Maybe I will eventually, maybe I'll change my mind. I'm not gonna say that I never will. However, when I'm working with individuals who are starting their businesses, I'm not going to charge that much. Now, if I am working with an organization and I'm going to be doing a lot of hands-on work, yes, I will charge that. But if I am working with an individual who is working on packaging up their program, that wouldn't even make sense for me to be charging 25 to 50,000 because they don't have that amount coming in. Now, for an organization, they already have revenue coming in. It's easy for me to tweak some things, and the amount of return on their investment makes that worth it. It's all in perspective of the return on investment. Okay. So if I'm going to get you up and started, and I'm going to get you, let's say, hopefully within your first year, you're going to be making anywhere from 50 to 100 if you're very new at this, then spending 5 to 6,000 on my program makes sense, right? In a business, there are going to be expenses. There are. There just are. And you can do it the hard way, the slow way. If you want to, by all means, you can do it. But I spent at least minimum, less, not even, at least 30,000 on an MBA. I spent another, let's say, 6,000 on an associate's in business. I have 8 years of experience. I can't even tell you how many trainings, certifications, books I've read, all of that. Like, there's going to be expenses. A lot of times it's our perception. Going, do I want to spend 6,000 to do a training? Or do I wanna spend 13 months, $30,000 and struggling to get an actual degree in something? Like, it's gonna be based on your perceived value. Now, I will tell you, been in the in the business world, and there's tons of people that are succeeding without an MBA. Was it necessary? No. And some of them are they're happy they didn't do it because it didn't get them to where they wanted to be. If you're wanting to work in corporate America, an MBA is necessary. If you're wanting to succeed in your own business, an MBA is not necessarily necessary if you are just going to be packaging up your brilliance and putting it into a package to sell. Most likely, you already have all the tools you need. You just need someone to help you package it up and set it up with a strategy to succeed. Now, do I know some things about these little tactics? Like right now, reels are the way to go. Of course, video is going to win over posting, but do you still need to post? Yes. Do you need to stress about your posting that much? No. What I will tell you though, you need to get comfortable with posting in order to get comfortable with content to do reels, to do video. And there's those tactics, But ultimately, what happens is you need to be knowledgeable in what you're doing, and you need to find out what your target market wants. Does your target market want reels? Does your target market want blog posts? Does your target market want you to be in a Facebook group teaching them? And then we can talk about where you want to be on social media, right? If you're catering more towards professionals, let's say Liliana, neurodivergence. How is it affecting them? Where is it affecting them in life? If it's affecting them primarily in work and there are a lot of professionals, then you're going to want to be on LinkedIn and then maybe in Facebook groups. If you are wanting to target their neurodivergence because they can't get a job and they're stay-at-home parents or they're struggling and they're on Facebook all day, then Facebook's going to be where you want to be. Everyone seems to be on Instagram, so that seems to be a good secondary place to be, but the primary spaces are going to be LinkedIn or Facebook. And then you've got Twitter, Instagram, and a couple other random spots. But I recommend Instagram being your kind of bridge between whichever you do. Okay, extra little tidbit. Um, but social media is just one part of your sales funnel. It's really getting in and finding out ways to connect with people. Because although we're selling products to people. We need to know those people and we need to create a funnel that then gets their attention. And if you don't plan on doing ads, then you're going to need to be in people's DMs. And I recommend being in people's DMs regardless. And you're going to have to learn how to do that because we don't just cold message people. Don't do it. You're going to turn them off, right? Who loves getting these messages going, hey, by the way, it's different if you've already had some interaction somewhere or they commented on a post or something like that. But don't just cold message them with no reason. Um, Being real salesy, we're being sold to all day long. Where we are constantly. We've got ads in front of our faces. And ads are okay. Like we get the choice to click on them. But in our DMs, it's a little bit more invasive. All right. Right. They're so cringy. All right. Well, please let me know if you have any additional questions. I will still see questions as they come on here. I look forward to chatting with you tomorrow. And tomorrow we're talking about how to scale your business. So, how do we take it from these incremental steps of starting to $1 million business? Like, what are those steps in between? How do we make this happen? All right. We've talked a little bit about it, but we're going to tie it all together tomorrow. So, I look forward to chatting with you then.